QWER! We continue our track-by-track listen through to the band who you might know as QWER's third mini album, which is called In a Million Noises, I'll Be Your Harmony, and we are up to the penultimate track, actually, D-Day. And no idea what to expect. As I said, so far, we've listened to 4 tracks. The first one I absolutely loved, brilliant single. Second one was brilliant as well, good rock energy. And then after that, we had a song which was very K-pop, in hashtag QWER, followed by Overdrive, which was very much kind of like a drum and bass song almost. It's like drum and bass pop. So I kind of said that, I love QWER for having variation, but I also really, one of the things I really love about them is their ability to hopefully move the needle a little bit on what Korea considers to be popular music and bring the band sound back. I can feel it coming back, and I feel like I want them to be at the forefront of that. So I'm hoping that the last 2 songs represent a little bit more of their band sound, because I got to be honest, in the 2 songs before this, I didn't quite hear them as a band. It sounded more like a K-pop album. The first 2 songs very much sounded like a band. So I'm hoping we steer a little bit back in the band direction, but let's have a little listen to this. The one thing I can say is all the songs so far have been super fun and catchy. But here we go. D-Day is the next one. I'm excited. I'm enjoying this, and it's really good to be able to listen to QWER's albums and probably have a proper deep dive in rather than just sort of going through the singles. I know the singles get more views, but I just want to enjoy this band properly with you guys. So anyway, let's jump in, have a little listen to D-Day. Okay, I'm immediately liking that feel. Oh, that's a nice little switch there. There's constant changes in this. I really like the feel of that. Very active, you got the brass. Oh, another chord pattern change. On a pure writing standpoint, I'm loving the chord progression in this. It never settles down for half a second. And this is the first time it's actually settled into a repeated chord pattern yet. But I'm loving that mixture of guitars and brass. And that little sort of synth slap bass thing going on there. There's so much in this, so much going on. That kind of 80s-esque bass tone though is really funny. I do like it though. I like it a lot. You've got the synthesizers in there. So many layers. Listen to all the things happening at the same time. Oh, nice use of the guitar there. Oh, nice bit of backing vocals as well. Again, another song that's sub 3 minutes, or the 3-minute mark basically. So short. But this packs in so much. I'm going to stop it before it spoilers the next song. Do you know what? It's only the first listen, but so far that is either my favourite or my second favourite song on the album so far. There's so much to like about this. There is so much to like about this song. Now, I will address the whole band thing a little bit later on. Just to say, first of all, this definitely had more of a band sound. But there's still some questions that I would raise about. I felt it could have been a little bit more bandless, but we'll come back to that later. Let's talk about first of all about just why this is so good. For a 3-minute song, what do you want? Well, first of all, you want it to have a feeling that it has enough variation still within that 3 minutes, that it kind of isn't just one thing over and over again. Plus, you want it to have like some development with the chord pattern. You want to have nicely, clearly defined bits so it feels like a proper journey. This does all of that. First of all, I have to say the whole timbre of it, just the layers of sound that all culminate together to make the, if you like, the sound, the tone of this song is brilliant. Obviously at the core, we kind of got like a fairly sort of steady sort of drum beat. We got a little bit of guitar. It's kind of quiet in the mix, but we got the guitar sort of like chugging away there, giving a little bit of grunt to things. But then on top of that, we got these stabbing staccato like brass parts, and staccato is just like when you get a really sharp sound, like bam, bam. It's got those sharp brass parts. That's a common thing that you hear a lot in a lot of but there's a fair amount of pop music that uses that, and it's an effect I've always found really cool. Because for a start, I mean, brass trumpets, these are really nice sounds, and especially if you want to do a sharp sound, they can give you a sharp sound with a lot of personality and a lot of power. So I like that, having the sort of the brass sounds punching over the top. Then underneath, we had all these kind of interesting things. There were some breaks where there was some synthesizers came in. I think I heard a little bit of keyboard and piano underneath there, but there was also interesting things going on with the bass. I've got to be honest, the bass on this album has got me kind of confused, as it could, I mean, some of it could be done through a bass pedal, but most of the bass on this album feels like it's constructed totally in the studio, like sort of like keyboard, synthesizers, programmed bass. And I will say that there were some moments where this definitely felt like we were getting like some full-on bouncing, rocking bass, but a lot of the bass here was synthesized and was clearly designed to feel that way. But the bass line I really liked. It was kind of simple, but it had these sort of walking bump, bump, these sort of like bits where it was walking, stopping, little bit of funk, and then walk again. It just kind of kept the underneath of the song, sort of feeling like it was moving, but at the same time wasn't overly cluttering it with just like hundreds of notes. It was a very sort of nice, punctuating the bits where the song was sort of clearly sort of moving into a different bit, sort of like it was rolling through different sections. But then when we got into like a good groove, it would just sort of back off and just give you the occasional note. I really like that aspect of it. Actually, yeah, I can hear like 2 layers of bass. I can hear like an actual bass and a synthesized bass, I think, over the top of each other. The thing is the synthesized bass seems to be turned up so much louder than the actual bass, that the actual bass is a little bit, feels more like it's like one of the background instruments, whereas the synthesized bass seems to be taking the lead. That's the way it sounds. Again, there's a lot of things you can do in the studio, so it's hard for me to really tell. But I got to be honest, like a lot of the actual bass work feels a little bit like it's could use a little bit more prominence in the mix. But yeah, this is me kind of nitpicking, just because, look, honestly, when it comes to this song, I love the way it sounds. I would definitely re-listen to this. There's one thing when it comes to QWER songs, there's always the part of me which like wants QWER to be this like important like needle moving group for Korea, but there's also this part of me which is just like, hey, as long as the sound waves are good and I'm entertained, I'm happy. If we just talk about as a song, I fucking love this. I really like this. I like that restless chord pattern, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it. The chord patterns doesn't feel like it's all over the place. It just feels like it develops. Each chord pattern moves on from the last one in an interesting direction, but keeps on going somewhere interesting. And it never just sort of like sits there looping over and over, except for that little middle bit where it rests. It's a song that stays fresh, stays interesting. It's got this beautiful range of sounds that just punch through together. It's got a great chorus. Again, when you've got a fantastic singer and you use her like these songs are using the vocals here, it's brilliant. You've got backing vocals, you've got a lovely ending. Everything about this is just quintessentially a good, fun, mid-tempo, short pop song done right. As a piece of music, I freaking love this. I really enjoyed this. I'll definitely listen to this again. As part of Howard's crusade for QWER to lead Korea into a new age, that is kind of like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's got a bit of a band feel. This one definitely I would consider to be more of a band song than the last two. But yeah, I thought there was little moments, like I say, turn up the actual bass a little bit louder over the synth bass. You know, give it a little bit. You know, turn up the guitars a little bit in places, not all the way through, but in some places, maybe in the chorus, give the guitar a little bit more grunt. You've already got the trumpet, put it up underneath that. So there's a couple little places where this is one of those ones where I hate to use this phrase, but hey, maybe it'd be interesting to see it live. I mean, I'd like to see all their songs live, and probably will at some point. But this one in particular, I'd love to see this with a little bit of the live punch, if they just let it sort of breathe a little bit more in the live version. But as just a simple audio experience, this was freaking brilliant. And yeah, I don't know, because this and the first song are very different. The song, which I still think of it as Tears, but then they came up with the English name, was like Dear or something. It was very strange. But between this and that, I don't know which one's my favorite. I'll have to double check. Like, I think that first single is probably the more rounded, bigger song. But this one, just on first listen and with recency bias, this just hits all the right spots for me. This makes me feel like so much fun. So definitely love them both. This is a great album, but we're on to the last track. Last track's next. So let's see what it's like. Anyway, follow me over to the next video. If you're watching this as it comes out, I'm posting these every 2 days. So the next video will drop 2 days after this one. But yeah, entire album. And then who knows where we'll go next with QWER, but there's a lot more to check out. So see you in the next video. As always, we're honest on this channel. So thank you so much for getting in the comments, giving your honest opinions as well. And I'm really enjoying sharing this conversation and this QWERny with you. It doesn't get better the more I say it. So until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.